Look at the weather.
It's beautiful here.
Non-stop rain.
Oh, man, it is a blazer out there.
It's cold and it's shivery.
It is cold.
Really coming down here.
I really enjoy your weather reports.
From the All Indiana Podcast Network, we're talking weather in a whole new way. From historical events to what's coming up, plus weather news, science, safety, fun facts, and more.
I like where this is going.
This is Weather Weekly. Weather Weekly with Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Marcus Bailey.
It is episode 196 of Weather Weekly. Good to be with you here, meteorologist Marcus Bailey from Wish TV in Indianapolis. I'm actually enjoying the week off, but going ahead and throwing this podcast out here early. Kiddos are on fall break. I know a lot of you families, either it's this week or next week, or maybe it's the next 2 weeks, depending on your school district. So hopefully you have a relaxing fall break if you have some time off. And a good-looking forecast, I think, that we're going to be dealing with here over the next several days. We are going to talk about maybe this drought coming back. You know, we got some relief from the remnants of Helene a couple of weekends ago. But this dry stretch that we may be kind of jumping back into may re-trigger some of these drought conditions again. We're going to talk about that, talk about another potential hurricane in the Gulf, or actually not a potential, as of this weekend, a new hurricane in the Gulf, but a potential landfall again in the southeast. So we'll briefly talk about that as well as we get you ready here for the week ahead for October 7th, 2024. That's next here on Weather Weekly.
Explaining football to the friend who's just there for the nachos? Hard. Tailgating from home like a pro with snacks and drinks everyone will love? An easy win. And with Instacart helping deliver the snack time MVPs to your door, you're ready for the game in as fast as 30 minutes. So you never miss a play or lose your seat on the couch or have to go head-to-head for the last chicken wing. Shop Game Day Faves on Instacart and enjoy $0 delivery fees on your first 3 grocery orders. Offer valid for a limited time. Other fees and terms apply.
Let your imagination soar with Audible. With stories across every genre, from expert advice to fantasy, you'll be inspired to imagine new worlds, possibilities, and ways of thinking. Listening can even lead to a positive change in your mood, habits, and overall well-being. As an Audible member, you'll get to choose one title a month to keep from their entire catalog, including bestsellers and new releases. Allow yourself to delve into the spooky this season by listening to classics like Stephen King's The Shining and Pet Sematary. There's more to imagine when you listen. New members can try Audible free for 30 days. Visit audible.com/imagine or text imagine to 500-500. That's audible.com/imagine or text imagine to 500-500.
It is the week ahead for October 7th, 2024. Let's start with our local forecast first before we start talking about any major issues weather-wise across the United States. Really no problems coming up here over the next several days. If there's anything, National Weather Service has made mention of an elevated fire risk. Dry weather could have some gusty winds leading into Monday, kind of, lingering after Sunday's higher wind speeds. Wasn't super windy, but it could increase maybe a little bit of the fire risk. So do keep that in mind since we've been dry for the better part of a week now. Let's get you started for Monday, the 7th here. Lots of sunshine, temperatures near 70. Winds will gradually ease up as we go throughout the day. Monday night, mainly clear. It's going to be crisp with lows into the mid-40s. So you're noticing those numbers are a little bit cooler in the wake of Sunday's cold front. Some of the outlying areas, especially up north, could sneak into the upper 30s. I don't think we're going to be close enough for frost formation. Not yet, anyway. Tuesday, a little bit warmer, but it's close to average. Sunny, high of around 71, and Tuesday night, a low of 45. Wednesday, sunny, a high of 73. And a low of 45, so we're kind of just gradually climbing the ladder here a little bit. Thursday, sunny, a high of 73, a low of 48. And then I think by the end of the week, we start to kind of bump the numbers up here a bit. Friday, sunny, a high of 78, a low of 53. Saturday and Sunday, we should see highs near 80 degrees both days. All days here are going to be mainly cloud-free. So, yeah, very, very quiet weather forecast. It should come to no shock that the 7-day rainfall is zero. Zero in the bucket. Closest rain to us over the next 7 days, you got to go into eastern Ohio. And even then, it's maybe a quarter of an inch of rainfall. So nothing doing there. And it doesn't really appear that we will be seeing any effects from a potential landfall of what is now a new hurricane in the tropics, in the Gulf, Western Gulf of Mexico, as of Sunday afternoon. Now, a Sunday afternoon, a Category 1 hurricane. This is Milton. Okay, Milton in the Western Gulf. Had 70 knot wind speeds. That's max close to 80, basically. And it is anticipated to potentially get up to major hurricane strength, which would be a Category 3 or higher. Likely making landfall sometime Wednesday along the Florida Gulf Coast, the central Florida Gulf Coast. So that would essentially, that would put that like around the Tampa area. And some of those areas were hit pretty hard with pretty bad storm surge with Helene a couple of weekends ago. And so now I know they're still trying to recover a little bit. So the cone of uncertainty, what we call it, Tampa's really smack dab in the middle. The northern end's kind of like the southern edge of the Big Bend region, and this would then go all the way down to just south of Naples. So it's kind of a wide range. We're uncertain still, but I mean, it does look like landfall is imminent by midweek. All right, a lot of major issues here. Storm surge is going to be a big problem, likely along that Gulf Coast. That's pretty flat side of the, you don't have a steep, the Atlantic side is a little more steep than the Gulf side is. And so storm surge could be a little bit more problematic. And that's even talking about kind of in the bays. So like in the Tampa area, St. Pete, coming in on the backside of some of those harbors and bays there, you could easily be looking at, over 9 feet of storm surge. At least early indications are kind of saying that in the Tampa area. Sarasota could potentially see anywhere between 6 to 9. And even around Cape Coral, which, that's the Fort Myers area. I know that was a hard-hit area down towards Naples during Helene. A lot of those areas all up and down that coast on the Gulf side had to do a lot of cleanup there. Unfortunately, I think that potentially could be the case, even more so coming up here for this midweek here. Rainfall potential over around the Tampa area. It could be 8+ inches, and that actually will kind of extend up toward Orlando. And even on the Atlantic side, flash flooding potential is pretty high in that same area. Tampa to Orlando to just south of Jacksonville. So really the central part and northern part of Florida. So it's something worth watching here. I know I mentioned that I am off this week, but with some of the time off here, I'm not going anywhere. We may end up doing some Facebook Lives during the week since we'll have a little bit of time on Milton. Like I said, not going to have a huge impact not going to have any impact for central Indiana as it appears right now, as it will. It looks like it's tracking due east and then just continuing to go due east back into the Atlantic. I did want to squash too. About a couple of my buddies text me this, and I've seen some buzz on social media. I try not to get too ingrained with some of this, but sometimes people share some bad information. The people are questioning if this is the first time that a storm has been formed in the Western Gulf and is unusual that it's going due east. And look, storms are going to do what they do. I've been around this business long enough that there's nothing really that unusual that you should be like, oh, wow, this is going to be even a unique situation. You think about Katrina. Katrina went, in the Atlantic. It went over Florida. It went out in the Gulf. It kind of did a little dipsy-do around and everything else, strengthened to a Category 5. We can do it like a Category 3, hit New Orleans. I mean, it was all over the place. So, like I said, storms are going to do what they do. A lot of it can be influenced by, what's going on in the upper level patterns. There's a lot that goes into it here. But don't let, people online saying, well, oh my gosh, this is formed in the Western Gulf. I believe there's been 2 or 3 storms that have already formed in the Western Gulf this year. So that is not a true statement. And just moving due east doesn't make it any, more or less dangerous. So just something to keep in mind. I know a lot of people are probably watching this very carefully because it is fall break, and I know a lot of Hoosiers that listen to this. I go down myself down to the Gulf. I usually am a spring break traveler, but we had debated about doing fall break. Took a pass this year, not storm related, but I know a lot of people may have some plans down there. So just keep that in mind. Watch this forecast carefully, whether, you have to cancel the plans because of, landfall this week, but watch what happens next week if there's cleanup and closures and all that kind of stuff. So, okay. So that's the update there on Milton. And like I said, I'll be updating my social medias throughout the week for those of you that are interested. We'll wrap things up here coming up next on Weather Weekly.
Credit Karma is your evolved financial assistant, making managing your finances simpler and more tailored to you. Join us at creditkarma.com to start your personalized financial journey today and continue to grow with our innovations. Credit Karma. Evolve your finances.
Okay, it's time to commit. 2024 is the year for prioritizing yourself. Begin your new smile journey with Byte, and you could start seeing results in just 2 to 3 weeks. Just order your at-home impression kit today for only $14.95 at Byte.com. Byte clear aligners are doctor-directed and delivered to your door. Treatment costs thousands less than braces. Plus, they offer financing options, accept eligible insurance, and you can pay with your HSA FSA. Get 80% off your impression kit when you use code WONDERY at Byte.com. That's BYTE.com. Start your confidence journey today with Byte.
Before we get to some of the stats for the month of October, I did want to get the official numbers for the month of September. 22nd warmest September on record, a tied for 22nd. Also tied for the 20th driest September on record, which is impressive. We did get at least a little bit of rain near the end, but boy, yeah, we ran real dry. 1.52, so we were down 1.62. The wettest day was on the 27th when we picked up over an inch of rainfall there. Didn't have a ton of severe weather. We did have an EF0 landsbound tornado near Yorktown in Delaware County. It's actually the town of Kamak. I know that because that's just down the road from where I grew up. There's a great little restaurant if you're ever up around that way. And then we also had the EF1 tornado up in Jay County and Portland, and did some damage to the high school there as well. Okay, let's get to the numbers for the month of October. It's been pretty bleak. Month to date, a trace of precipitation. So we're down about a half an inch. For the year, 34.28, we are down a quarter of an inch. As I mentioned, October, we do kind of pick up the precip a little bit compared to September. September, one of the drier months on record there. Let's talk. I have to pull it up here. I'm unprepared. The 8 to 14 day outlook, which calls for above average temperatures. Now, this is the dates of October 14th through the 20th, so well into the middle of the month. It also calls very strong signal for below average precipitation. Now, I bring that up. The drought monitor released last Thursday now has pulled back the drought for most of the state except for the northern tier counties along the Michigan state line, still considered in a moderate drought. But again, I do believe, because we're entering another dry spell, that that we're probably going to see some new or redevelopment. We may get some relief in southern Indiana. That's from some hints here from the monthly drought outlook and the tendencies for the month of October. But central in Indiana, it looks like the drought will, continue to persist or get worse. So not excellent news, really, there. It does get a little bit better in parts of southwestern Ohio, but for us here in central and northern Indiana, not really the best of news. All right? So that's all we have here for this week. We'd always love to hear your feedback. Shoot me an email anytime, marcus.bailey@wishtv.com. You can also reach me on social media. Marcus Bailey Weather is what you search for there in the search bar for Facebook, and @Marcus Bailey for X and Instagram. You can also get our forecast 24 hours a day with our free Storm Track 8 weather app, as well as on our website, wishtv.com. And you can catch my forecast, not this week. Like I said, I am off. But most weeks, Monday through Friday at 4 a.m. on the TV side, starting at Wish TV. Daybreak. Hope to see you next Monday. And hope to hear you, or you hear me, I guess, next Monday on another episode of Weather Weekly. While you're here, make sure to check out all the other great podcasts, all part of the All Indiana Podcast. Have a wonderful week. We'll talk to you soon, and God bless.
Discover more from Storm Track 8 Weather and Wish TV. Online at wishtv.com and when you follow Wish TV on Facebook. Plus, be sure to check out more great podcasts from the All Indiana Podcast Network now at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.